Hello everybody, this is Zuri. Welcome to this tutorial, Paint Loose Watercolor Floral Compositions in Procreate. In this video, we're going to talk about the main elements we need to be aware of for a well-balanced, eye-appealing floral composition. I will begin with this watercolor palette right here. However, I might be adding 1 or 2 new colors. If you would like to download this watercolor palette, make sure you find the link in the description. The first thing you want to consider when planning floral compositions is the focal point or main elements of your floral art. Without a focal point, the viewer will be lost and quickly will lose interest in your painting. The primary elements should have more details than secondary and extra elements. Another important thing to consider when planning focal point is the placement. I like to use a grid as a guide to help me decide where I want these elements to be. You can do this by dividing your image into 9 segments. First, draw 2 vertical lines and then 2 horizontal lines. Then place your focal points where the lines intersect. Another important thing to consider is always using odd numbers within your main elements. When your focal point is made of odd numbers, you create much more dynamic. It keeps the eye moving around the canvas. Why? Because our subconscious brain tends to pair objects. However, when viewing an odd group, the viewer will look longer at the image, moving between the individual elements. This is the power of using odd numbers because it creates a composition that makes the viewer's brain work harder and look longer, considering your composition one interesting to look at. Now let's talk about harmony. Let's define the principle of harmony and describe the way to achieve it in your compositions. When considering harmony, visualize it as the total sum of all the parts coming together to create unity. And we can simplify this term by considering the parts we can use to achieve harmony and unity. This is by using repetition or similarity of textures, styles, shape, and color between the flowers, the foliage, and the container and surroundings. Contrast within your art can be a little easier to understand than harmony. Art can have many different kinds of contrast within a composition. The easiest way to add contrast is color, and of course that's the easiest to remember, but don't limit your art to just color contrast. As shapes, texture, details, opacity, and thickness and shape of lines can upgrade a composition too. Negative space or white space, it is indeed one of the most effective tools you can use to add interest to your artwork. In art and design, it is defined as the space in between and around the subjects. It's just the empty space. So by simply leaving empty spaces around and in between the flowers, you can obtain amazing results with your composition shape. Planning your negative space can help you achieve, first of all, the overall shape you want your design to be. And another great result you can obtain by considering white space is a composition that is free of clutter, as empty space gives purpose to each part of your composition. Now let's talk about balance in floral compositions. Balance does not necessarily mean that you must mirror the other side of the design. When talking of floral compositions, it means having equal visual weight or equal eye attraction on each side of the arrangement. Colors, textures, shapes, and sizes are important parts to consider when balancing floral compositions. Now let's talk about lines in floral composition. Line is the visual path the eye follows through a composition to produce motion. The element of line is one of the most important in any design. Vertical, diagonal, and zigzag lines usually add energy and often drama to a composition, while horizontal and cascading lines express movement of a more relaxed, graceful, and delicate nature. Textures and pattern. Add interest and excitement by adding bold or strong contrast in textures to a composition design. On the other hand, textures that blend together can help produce a feeling of unity. Pattern can be achieved by placing a combination of line, form, texture, size, and space in the arrangements of fillers, leaves, twigs, and branches. To create depth and dimension on the main flower, I use a darker color in the middle with a lighter color on the outer petals. You can find a good brush to create this kind of flower inside the inking set called Tinderbox. The dark edges of the petals, leaves, and the center of the yellow flat flower were done on a clipping mask with a brush similar to that one called Wash inside the water set. Create a transparency effect on the outer edges of the petals and the tip of the leaves as in a real watercolor painting, I use a feature called masking along with the soft blend brush in the airbrushing set. Masking is great to bring transparency without directly affecting the element or layer. If you want to learn more about using the masking effect, make sure you visit my tutorial on dispersion effect that explains in more detail how masking and a layer work. Another great tip I wanted to share with you is to use the liquify tool set to crystal under the adjustment menu to create a realistic running watercolor border on the petals of the flat flowers. I really hope you found lots of good information in this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please remember to give this video a like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more helpful Procreate tutorials. Thank you for watching and see you next time.